It catches the microphone. This one is off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup of Woodbridge Strikers: David Carano, Matthew Tresente, Alex Mazensky, David Mutadembi, Isaiah Reed, Abdul Rauf Mohammed, Nzinga Muchelli, Dante Pabin, Noah McIntyre, Tyler Miranda, and Santino Di Bartolo. Starting lineup for the Vaughan Azzurri: Riley Fizzato, Raheem Rose, Justin Thomas, Joshua Mills, Massimo Ferrin, Orlando Benitez, Gianluca Catalano, Tisang Park, Daniel Garderty, Dylan Carrero, and Anderson Kengerman, and Kusasku Nufranzo. That's your starting lineup for both men's Woodbridge Strikers and Vaughan Azzurri. Referee: Joey Filippic, Nevin Rizada, George Solomon. Fourth official: Mendy Putafara.
And good evening and welcome to North Maple Park. The derby of all derbies is taking place right here in Vaughan. Woodbridge Strikers taking on Vaughan Azzurri. I'm your host, Anthony Totero, joined by Marco Retta of Woodbridge Strikers. Marco, welcome. No stranger here to this derby.
Thanks, Anthony. Pleasure.
It's great to have you here, Marco. As the game gets going, we'll talk to you about your club. We'll talk to you about this season so far and the last game of the season for Woodbridge, last game for Vaughan Azzurri. And Vaughan have booked their ticket to the playoffs. Unfortunately, Woodbridge have not, but we're looking forward to this derby. Always a lot of action, always a lot of drama. Let's hope that the weather gives us this game for the full 90 minutes. Let's talk about some of the guys on this squad, Marco, that you're very familiar with and guys that you think that have a future down the road, possibly NCAA, maybe in the youth sports college. Talk about some of these young men that Peter Pinazzotto and his staff have worked with this year.
Well, Pete's brought a more experienced squad for tonight's game. We've had a player like Dante Pavan, who's a national champion from Humber College, and Naz Muchili, who's been a stalwart at Woodbridge, coming back from Jacksonville University. It's nice to see one of our 2005 players, though, David Carano, in goal tonight. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and this game will bode well for his experience down the road.
Interesting player that I know quite well that's on the bench tonight, Rolando Marshall. He's made his way back up here. It's good to see him back up here, and hopefully he'll get in this game. Know him quite well. As you know, recently, about a couple weeks ago, we had a showcase for League One Ontario and CPL. 60 of the top players in Ontario took part. A lot of Woodbridge and Vaughan Azzurri players were there. You had one of your coaches, Fab Panetta. Vaughan had one of their coaches, and Patrice Geyser. Talk about how important that was for your club.
Well, it's amazing. We thank the CPL and League One for putting events like that on for players to get opportunities to have people watch them play. It also gives our guys, our 2004s and our 2005 something to look forward to.
And here's an opportunity early on. Sorry there, Marco. Offside for Vaughan Azzurri. An early opportunity for Vaughan. And you could tell right away both squads understand each other. They understand the rhythm of the game early on, Marco. This is safe to say two veteran squads going at each other.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as the game doesn't mean much in the standings, there's always an emotional side to the game when Vaughan meets Woodbridge.
Here's an opportunity now. Pressing is Vaughan. This could be dangerous, and cleared out of the way nicely by the Woodbridge keeper. Chested down nicely there by Woodbridge, and here's an opportunity now for Vaughan. That is number 9, Orlandis Carlos Benitez Hernandez. Vaughan with the ball, an opportunity, asking questions, and Woodbridge clears it out of danger. And here is a ball down the flank there. Playing it back to the Vaughan keeper. Playing it nicely. Looking to the right on your screen, moving from the right to the left. Vaughan in their navy blue, Woodbridge Strikers in their white. Marco, let's talk about your club, the history that your club has in this province, but also in Canada. They've sent many players all over the world. They've had players play in the pro ranks, university, colleges. Talk about the successes of your club and some of those players.
Yeah, I mean, the club's got a long history of producing good players and having competitive teams. Guys like Jim Brennan, Stephen Vittoria, current and former national team players, have played for Woodbridge at a time. And, we have a couple guys currently on TFC's first team, Luca Petrasso and Jordan Peruzza, and hopefully they can eventually graduate to Canada's first team, the men's team. And, some others coming through the pipeline that have aspirations to play for Canada, and we hope that they get there one day.
Lowell Wright with York United, but now with the Vancouver Whitecaps too. That is a player that I think a lot of people are really curious to watch as his growth continues on, and it could be the sky the limit for Lowell Wright. Talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, Lowell was with us at an early age at 12, 13, then went to TFC Academy, and then came back at the under-16 level and was with us a few years before going to York United. Massive potential, a kid that we think should be playing probably in Europe one day, and I think can be a starter for Canada's men's national team down the road at the number 9 position.
Vaughan spreading the ball around nicely. We're in the 4th minute here. It is 0-0. Woodbridge Strikers and Vaughan Azzurri. The derby of all derbies. This is a proper derby, a derby that's been around for a very, very long time. And you can always see that the supporters of both clubs come out. And you had tweeted something out a few weeks ago as well, Marco. I believe it was a youth game between these two clubs, and there was standing room only, and there had to be about 500-600, if I'm not mistaken, maybe more. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome to see. A crowd like that at a youth game. I remember the Little World Cup back in the day when I was playing youth soccer for Woodbridge. We had stacked Rainbow Creek, and there was standing room only at Rainbow Creek, and it was an amazing atmosphere. And it seems like today, with social media and everything, the word got out there that two of the top teams in the 2008 boys division were going to play, and everyone came out. It was fun to watch, and hats off to both sets of players because they put on a show for the crowd that was there.
Absolutely. Here's an opportunity now for the captain of Vaughan. There is Dylan Carrero with a ball dangerously just over the net. Carrero with a nice ball down the middle, but just inches over the bar. Marco, let's talk about some of those former players that you mentioned and how important is it for them to come back to your club to show the youngsters there in your club that there is a way to get to the next level if you work hard, as you mentioned, Petrasso, Wright. I think of guys like Armin Wilson specifically and Cuba Grant, guys that I know. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you did a great job this winter. We put on a little event with York United to have a few players. So we had Isaiah Johnston, a former player, and Michael Petrasso, a former player, come back, speak about some of their experiences in front of our grassroots players, which always gives them a bit of hope, right? Something to look forward to. And it's nice to have some of our guys who've graduated to universities come back and play for our League One team and show that Woodbridge has a pathway for our youth to go away at school and then come back and play for our League One group.
Throw-in coming up for Woodbridge, taken there by Woodbridge. We're entering the 6th minute here. It's still 0-0. Great atmosphere, great vibe as always, Marco, when these two clubs get together. There is enough talent, I believe, not only between these two clubs, but in this powerful region of York region. Is it safe to say, is it correct to say that the phone continuously rings from clubs in Europe, clubs in Canada, clubs in MLS, clubs all over, knocking on the door and saying, hey, now we know that Canada's on the map. What are you guys doing right there at Woodbridge? What are you guys doing right in this region?
Yeah, I mean, we got a phone call not too long ago regarding Lowell Wright from a club in Europe, and there was some hope that he would eventually go to a club in Europe that we had ties to. People at the club had ties to. It didn't work out for him this time. He got a good move to Vancouver, and hopefully he does well for their MLS team.
Here's an opportunity. Cleared out of danger. Still Carrero with the ball for Vaughan, playing it back. Joshua Mills. Can he keep it in? Massimo Ferrin with the ball. Here's a crossing just a little bit too hard there by Carrera, and he keeps it in nicely there. Vaughan. Here's an opportunity now for Vaughan. Can he get in the box? He does. Carrera with an opportunity now in the box. 1v1 here. Looking, trying, asking. Can he get something in here? And Carrero, no stranger to CPL, no stranger to these parts. A veteran player there for Vaughan, and the captain wearing that armband tonight. Here's Carrero once again. And Woodbridge under pressure here. Opportunity again for Vaughan. Double teamed. Well done there by Woodbridge midfielder there. Pushing it back. And now here's an opportunity once again. And Massimo Ferrin with the ball. Had his time in the DC United family there down south. Also played in USL. A guy that many people have their eyes on, I'm sure, for next year, wherever that might be. Here's a nice given goal by Vaughan. And here's an opportunity. Cracked. And lovely save there by the Woodbridge
save,
keeper.
David.
What a wonderful save there by the Woodbridge keeper.
Well done, David Carano. Excellent save.
David Carano was someone that I knew about a few weeks ago by Fab Panetta, who had mentioned to me when we were in need for the showcase for keepers. We had selected already 4, and Fab Panetta had mentioned, Anthony, I've got this young man. His name is Carano. Do you want to have a look? And I said, at this moment, unfortunately, we're full, but there you go. The man is making a name for himself early on here. Marco, talk about him.
Yeah, he's got a twin brother who also plays for our 05s, and his sister plays for our 08 girls. And every time I see him, I said, we wish we could clone the Carano heart. three kids that love the club, love playing soccer, and wear their heart on their sleeve. They're amazing people.
Outstanding to hear. That's a great way to talk about a family of football people that really enjoy it. Foul there in favor of Vaughan. The game has actually been quite clean early on. That's something that you don't usually see between these two going over the years. Marco, you're laughing there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every game's been, hopefully the players can keep their emotions in check and let the football do the talking.
And if the football does the talking, both of these clubs have so much talent and enough talent that it's safe to say, Marco, that I believe if someone gave me a wish and they said, Anthony, is there enough talent in York region between Woodbridge and Vaughan and some of the others to put together a professional club? Without hesitation, I would say 100%. You, Marco?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's enough quality players, young, at the youth level, plus players coming back from.
Here's an opportunity for Vaughan on a low now. Can you get a crack at it? Just
Another
wide,
save,
nicely
David.
saved again by Carano.
Yeah, Vaughan started on the front foot here. They've created a number of opportunities. But back to what I was saying, there's aspiring youth players that are of quality from both clubs and in the region, plus players in the 21, 22-year-old range that may have gone away to school and are coming back.
What puts a smile on my face, especially working for League One Canada and CPL. And here's a nice opportunity now for Vaughan. And again, Carano is on his game. Easily, it could have been a couple goals, but Carano has stood on his head early on for Woodbridge. The young man is making a name for himself early on.
Yeah, he's done well. It's David's a brave boy, so he's not going to back away from any 50-50 ball that's coming towards the box.
As I was saying, Marco, to me, it's very simple when I look at this region and I'm doing the scouting for League One Canada, and we're inputting as many players as we can in our database, and it always keeps getting more populated by players from York region, and specifically the two clubs that are here tonight, others from this region, other parts.
Sure.
But let's call a spade and put the facts on the table. These two clubs are powerhouses, and to me, when I look here in this region, there's fruit of every kind to pick, and I would not be afraid to go up against any pro club.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice for possibly the two clubs to get together and speak about possibly getting a franchise together. I think the players are there from both clubs for that to happen. I believe there could be enough financial fortitude within the region for that to happen. So that'd be great to see.
Marco, we talk about the players. Let's talk a little bit about the coaches. I think sometimes they don't get enough respect as well in this region, that there's a lot of quality coaches. Here's an opportunity now for Vaughan. Nicely closed down there by Woodbridge, and still an opportunity for Vaughan. And there is Quadji. And a save again by Carano. A right hand. Up high, just takes it over the bar. That's 4 by my count. Terrific saves by Carano.
Yeah, well done. Again, Vaughan's got some attacking prowess, and they've caught Woodbridge on the counterattack a few times with numbers and seem to be getting clear opportunities.
Corner kick here for Vaughan. Entering the 13-minute mark, 0-0 still. Vaughan Azzurri, Woodbridge Strikers, the Derby, as we like to say. Back in the day, Marco, I'm sure you recall as I do, it used to be North York Rockets, Toronto Blizzard.
Yes.
And now we still have a proper derby here with Vaughan and Woodbridge. And it's great to see, as I said, a lot of the coaches in this region developing, getting better and better. We see on the other side, Jordan Feliciano. We see on your side, Fab Panetta, two of these young coaches at our showcase that we invited. We know people like yourself, Marco, and Carmen Asako, and Patrice Geyser, but it's also important to give these young guys the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fab's been working for our club for a number of years. He's, he started at the lower levels and has graduated now to our League One reserve teams. And, hopefully in the next few years, we'll have seen Fab coach some pros that we see having graduating from college and hopefully playing in MLS one day.
Tough tackle there for Vaughan. No card. Looked to me that it could have been possibly a card. But Justin Thomas there with a real strong tackle. Let's talk about the youth in both clubs, Marco. They keep churning out players at a high rate. We mentioned that youth game that took place. They keep showing up, whether it's in the Reserve League, OPDL, you name it, tournaments, etc., etc. They're either in the semifinals, both clubs are in the finals, and that's a testament to both clubs.
Yeah, I think what both clubs do a good job of is putting an emphasis and focus on their grassroots program. And that includes, having the membership that supports it, but also the having good coaches at that level.
Here's a nice shot and a save there by Carano. Can he keep it out? He does again. Wow, this has been the Carano show for the first 15 minutes here.
Well done, David.
I mean, again, folks, if you're watching on the live stream there, you can see for yourself this young man continuously is keeping his team in the game, stop after stop after stop, and good on this young man, David Carano.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I think both clubs put a good emphasis on grassroots, and I think both clubs do a good job of
Corner kick for Vaughan.
Of creating a pathway for their players.
Absolutely. Marco Retta joining us from Woodbridge Soccer Club. In the second half, we'll have Carmen Asacco joining us to talk about Vaughan and Zuri. And they celebrated, I believe, 40 years this weekend at their Vaughan Fest. So we'll talk to Carmen about that. Here's an opportunity now for Woodbridge. Woodbridge with an opportunity here, clearing out of danger. And that is the first corner kick coming up for Woodbridge. Vaughan has kept Woodbridge in check for most of the game. So the first corner kick coming up for Woodbridge here. Talk about Peter Pinizzotto. Peter's been around the game a number of years, a guy that is no stranger, not only to this region, to Canada, to North America, and he has been very loyal to your club.
Yeah, Peter's been a legend in Canadian soccer circles as far as I'm concerned.
Corner kick here for Woodbridge and cleared away for another corner kick coming up.
I was lucky enough years ago to play for Peter with the Toronto Lynx, and I think sometimes Peter doesn't get the credit that he rightfully deserves. He gave a lot of young players a chance back then playing for Toronto Lynx.
I mean, you talk about the Toronto Lynx, and I think of Dwayne De Rosario. I think of Paul Stalteri, if I'm not mistaken, on that squad. I think of many guys on that squad. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Peter with that squad went to either the semifinals or the finals against Rochester and were knocked out.
Yeah, we made it to the semifinals one season. It was my last season.
And here's a shot over the net there by Woodbridge, and you can hear the thunder happening. But sorry, go ahead there, Marco.
It was our last season, my last season with Toronto Lynx before moving to Norway. We had a good squad. Player like Adrian Saru, Chris Pozniak, other names that Peter gave opportunities to that eventually played for the senior men's national team and in Europe.
Carrera with a nice feed there. Vaughan looking to try to get that opener here on home field. Now Woodbridge trying to get it out of danger. Nicely done there. Nicely done there. Woodbridge on the counter here. Opportunity to try to get something going here. And Vaughan has closed that down nicely. Ball has been switched over. Just a little bit too hard there to control. Nicely headed away there by Vaughan. Here's an opportunity, 1v1. Still kept in by Woodbridge. They are looking for their first dangerous opportunity here. Marco, let's talk about Diaz, who has gone from Pacific, being sold to a club that you know very well. How important and how difficult is that country and that league to play in for Diaz being sold from Pacific?
Yeah, I think there's going to be an adjustment period with regards to the speed of the football in Norway and the physicality. I think he'll be fitter than he ever was. But I think he'll do well because he's got an exceptional goal-scoring record for Pacific. So I'm sure that'll continue in Norway as well. Hats off to the CPL for giving the a platform for players to develop, shine, that otherwise perhaps wasn't there for them. And as you can see, a number of players have moved on from that experience for them.
How important is that for CPL to have players continuously being sold to higher leagues, big clubs, for CPL to continuously grow?
Oh, one, I think it means something financially for the clubs and the league, but it also it gives some respectability towards the league when players get sold and start doing well for clubs in Europe or even in.
Well, here's
in
an
MLS.
opportunity now for Vaughan in on goal, and here's an opportunity, and it is a goal for Vaughan Azzurri. The first goal of the game, Vaughan Azzurri strikes, and they make it 1-0 here in the 20th minute. Unfortunately, Carano just couldn't come up again with another unbelievable stop, but the kid has been standing on his head, so you can't blame him there. But Vaughan strike first. Lots of time for Woodbridge to get back in this game, but you could see that Vaughan was just pressing and pressing and pressing. Let's talk about this facility, Marco. This has been a couple of years here. Beautiful 2 fields here. We did our showcase here, but I think of your field out in Woodbridge, and I said this a number of times over the years. Now, maybe not so much recently. That, to me, was one of the best fields to play on, that Kentucky grass. But unfortunately, it's being run by the city, and we know what happens when, unfortunately, cities have a lot of responsibilities. But I think at a certain point, clubs like yours, clubs like Vaughan, need to really engage the city to get better facilities. Talk about that.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have a number of fields at Vaughan Grove. The 2 grass fields over the last couple of years have
Here's an opportunity. Oh, just skipped over his foot.
Yeah, the fields have dropped in quality, but
Goal by
the turf
Kosi
fields
in
that are.
the 20th minute. Once again, goal by Kosi in the 20th minute.
But the turf fields that are out now, the ones including at Vaughan Grove and this one here at North Maple are absolutely amazing. Great to play on. I think it'd be nice to have more soccer facilities in the.
We hear the rain
region.
coming, so I got Marco covered under this tent because we don't want to get him wet.
More soccer facilities in the region that are of the quality that the soccer being played deserves.
Absolutely. Now, Marco, you and I know that obviously hockey has been king for a very long time in this province and in this country, and we understand that. But I think the demographics, the culture is changing in this province and in this country, where I think we need to demand the better facilities, need to demand higher quality maintenance of these facilities, and I don't think we're getting it yet. And no disrespect to the workers of these cities, because they do a lot for what they're doing, and we understand that. But we need more, and these people need to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe there's a little bit of a misunderstanding of exactly what a grass field or a soccer pitch should feel and look like for the players. And, a part of it is on us, the soccer people in the community, to demand more.
Here's an opportunity for Vaughan. What a save again by Carano.
Wow, David,
unbelievable. Almost like a human elastic band there, stretching with his right hand and making a terrific save again.
That's terrific.
I got to tell you something, Marco. If his teammates don't take him out after the game, I'm sure he can't drink yet, but even for a nice coffee, they better take him out.
Or I will. Another great build-up by Vaughan. They seem to be getting good combination play through the midfield and finding their target man for good chances.
And again, when I watch both of these squads, Marco, not just this season, corner kick coming up here for Vaughan, and just over the bar there. When I watch these two squads play, not just this year, but in previous years, in many years back, again, I keep thinking of the quality of pro players that have come out from both clubs that have gone on to major success. Canadian men's national team players from both clubs. And they continuously churn them out, whether it's your club or Vaughan. It speaks for themselves. Just Google the success. It's fantastic. And it's time that I believe, and many believe, that these two clubs really, really look at that big picture and say, hey, what's next?
Yeah, I agree. I think, Vaughan has shown themselves to be the class of the League One in the last couple of years. Woodbridge is going through a bit of a turnover with some of the successes they had 3 or 4 years ago. Finding the right balance between youth and senior players. Thanks, Anthony. I'm getting a bit wet here.
You can tell it's really
but
coming
absolutely,
down now.
that, you know, I'd love for both clubs to get together and find some solutions for the professional level. You know,
The competitive spirit is always there, and the energy, the vibe, as we said, will always be there. But again, as we talk about League One Ontario in this region, it's fantastic to see. Even in the pouring rain, Marcos, we're watching. We're lucky. We're covered here a bit. They're still staying and watching these two. Why? It's because it's been history, and it's been like this forever and ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, here's an opportunity now
That's a
for
great
Carrero.
ball.
Can he get this ball? Can he get an opportunity? What a lovely pass by Carrero there. Still with the ball, Carrero. Oh, and just picked up there by Carrano. But Dylan Carrero himself has had a wonderful first half. Carrero, no stranger to CPL, no stranger to these parts. The captain of Vaughan Missouri has been electric tonight. Boy, oh boy, you can really feel it coming down. Talk about as a former player, Marco. Did you ever play in something like this in your time? Here's an opportunity. And again, Carrano comes up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're bringing back Norway again, and Diaz will get familiar with the weather in Norway. This is a typical springtime day in Norway. So,
how great is it to watch the Canadian Championships this year, where you saw York taking on the Vancouver Whitecaps? You saw in years past where Calvary beat the Vancouver Whitecaps, Pacific beating the Vancouver Whitecaps. And now the young kids of Woodbridge and of Vaughan can dream, and maybe one day with possibly winning League One Ontario, playing in the Canadian Championship, Marco. Talk about how important that is.
absolutely, it just shows that there's a pyramid, and that like it happens in every other footballing country, and hopefully we can call ourselves a footballing country here in Canada. But it just shows even at the amateur level, players at the semi-professional, amateur level can compete with professional players. They just need that opportunity, particularly here in Canada.
Absolutely. How important has it been for the growth of the game in this province, in this country, Marco, for the things that League One Ontario and Commissioner Dino Rossi have done? We see now the first year in BC League One kicking off. We saw TSS Rovers having a successful season there. PLSQ, we know what Plainville's all about. We don't need to describe that. And League One Ontario, how important is this mosaic of League One Canada now for your club?
Well, it's important for all the clubs. I think Dino's done a good job of professionalizing amateur men's and women's amateur soccer in this country. And it's given players like, again, Lowell Wright, Alistair Johnson, Kamal Miller, opportunities to play soccer at a high level while they're at the youth level, and giving them a launching pad to move on to bigger and better things.
Marco, it's time to give some credit and some respect to the thousands of volunteers over the years at your club that have put in all sorts of hours, all sorts of time away from their family because they love the game. They love the community. They enjoy being part of that club. And that starts from, obviously, your president, Mike Rieta, and it works all the way down to people like John that's here tonight, his brother and others.
Sure.
Talk about some of these people that are the unsung heroes behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I mean, if we're looking just at board members who put in countless hours to make important decisions for their membership, but we also have to look at the volunteer coaches. I brought up the grassroots programs for both Vaughan Soccer Club and Woodbridge Soccer Club earlier. Without volunteers to help with registrations and the coaching and run games.
Here's an opportunity just over. Lovely cross there. And it looks like a Woodbridge player is down hurt. I hope it's not too serious. But again, Vaughan pressing and pressing, looking for that second goal. We are 28
Vaughan
minutes
seem to be
in.
finding some space in behind the center backs of Woodbridge. So hopefully they can make an adjustment, because there's some gaps there that Vaughan are exploiting at the moment.
But talk again a little bit more, because I don't think, again, we spend enough time with those volunteers. You talked about the little World Cup. I remember years ago going to watch. It was fantastic, packed. Yeah. And there was teams from other parts of the world. And everyone would get excited. Hey, this club is playing this club, and that club's playing that club. Yeah. And it was great to come out. And that little field, if I'm not mistaken, off of the Highway 7, I think it's called Rainbow Creek, I'm not mistaken. Off the highway, people were parking off the highway there to watch games.
We need more of that. We need more of that. Like I said, that 2008 game brought back memories of the Little World Cup. Vaughan and Woodbridge were lucky enough to be part of an event where Juventus came over, their youth team, and We got, our Woodbridge players, Vaughan players got a chance to play against Juventus and Toronto FC Academy players. And we need more events like that, more events that have top players playing against each other and against like-minded
There's
competition.
an opportunity for Farron now. Trying to take their 3 Woodbridge players there, trying to do a give and go. Opportunity for Vaughan, closed down nicely by Woodbridge. They have defended nicely at moments throughout this game. Unfortunately, as we said, Carano's had to stand on his head. Now, I'm disappointed in you not mentioning someone that everyone loves when they come to Woodbridge, especially for League One Ontario matches and others, is that great snack shop and that gentleman that puts on an unbelievable time there. I think his name is
Nonno Mario.
Talk
Nonno
about
Mario.
that gentleman. Everyone loves going
Yeah,
there.
Nonno Mario's a gem. He's honest. But he always asks you if you need a coffee, if you need a drink. He's a gentleman to the coaching staff at Woodbridge, to the board members. He's got a freezy available to any kid who wants a freezy. Yeah, absolutely. He's a place to visit. If ever you're at Vaughan Grove, you definitely want to go by Nonno Mario's for something.
Here's an opportunity for Vaughan now with a free kick in a dangerous area of the field. 30 minutes in, 1-0 for Vaughan Azzurri over at Woodbridge Strikers. I'm your host, Anthony Totera, joined by Marco Rutta, Woodbridge Soccer Club. Here is the ball directed in the air and nicely taken again by Carano there. Looking for options, waiting till his teammates spread out, and has now spread it out to the right. And here's a nice ball. Here's a nice ball here for Woodbridge, but offside. A little bit late on the
that's a
call
tough
there,
call.
but it is what it
He
is.
called handball there. Tough call.
The rains have subsided, but you could still hear, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit of the thunder there. We knew we were going to roll the dice, as they say, and take a chance here tonight with this game. But so far, so good. So let's cross our fingers that we can get this game in the books. Marco, talk about some of the former players that have now gone on with other clubs that might call you up and say, hey, coach, I need some advice, or I need your thoughts on this. This is what's happening. How important is that to give your thoughts and advice as a former player and now a coach to help these young players?
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback from our guys that, our 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are at school, at college, might have opportunities to turn pro, or leave school and see what other opportunities are out there. So always happy to lend an ear and give my thoughts on and give them some insight on how I saw things when I was at their when I was at their age.
Here's a header by Woodbridge, just a little bit tough on that challenge, but no call there. And Woodbridge now with an opportunity. Can they get something going here? Can they maybe try to get that equalizer? It's still early in this first half. Can they get that opportunity? Almost looked like a dangerous situation there, but nicely taken out of danger there. Nice give and go there by Carrera and Farron. And there's a sliding tackle miss there. An opportunity still for Vaughan here. Looking for that second goal. Can they get some shot? Ooh! Inches wide of that post.
Big chance. That's a good run, though. Excellent run by Farron. Managed to work himself all the way across the field for a shooting opportunity and just missed.
How important, or should I put it this way, Marco, how key is it to use the component of video today and not make it the be-all and end-all for every player? I personally, watching so many videos of so many players, of so many games, I value it, but I have said this time and time again, but I want to hear from you as a former player. I need to come and watch with my eyes after I watch, after I talk to a coach, then I watch again, then I talk again, and then I'll come and watch with my own eyes, because I got to feel it, I got to smell it, and I got to...
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, speaking as a coach, we use it as an educational tool for the players to show them little moments in games where things could be corrected. Players use it for highlight videos and all that, which is important. But every coach I've spoke to, every agent, every scout, nothing takes away from the live experience of seeing a player on the field. Not only do you see the performance, but you also see the habits off the ball, which is important for any coach or recruiter or agent, let's say.
Can you see in your club now how the game has changed in many ways when you were, let's say, growing up, where nutrition is playing a part, video is playing a part, the mental aspect is playing a part, etc., etc., etc. How important is that within your club, Marco, that you guys understand that we have to evolve as the rest of the game evolves now, knowing, again, that Canada is on the spotlight with the World Cup coming up.
Yeah, it's absolutely night and day. One, the game formats and small-sided games and the type of training and all of that is much different. But as leagues like League One has professionalized themselves and OPDL and so forth, clubs have had to step up their game. So we have our own strength and conditioning coach at the club. He's full-time, works with our grassroots players in OPDL and League One beginning of each year to just talk about how important eating the right things is, when to eat. But he also talks a lot about sleep, which sometimes young players forget about. And it's a crucial element to, one, their growth, but also their recovery after training and matches.
When talking to a young man that's in your club that has aspirations maybe to play university or college, I've said this, and obviously it's important that you weigh in on this. I believe that as having two sons myself, one went to university, one went to college, one might be liking the trades, the other might like whatever the university offers. I think it's important, especially CPL. We have the U Sports Draft, very successful, the brainchild of James Easton, and has been helpful to the league tremendously. But college has been tremendous as well, where many players have come and now playing CPL. How do you talk to those young men and say, hey, one is not better than the other?
Yeah, I mean, every time we have a conversation with a player or a parent, we always talk about finding
strikers. Number 3, Matthew Tresente, out.
We always talk about finding the right fit for the player. And that's financially.
Keegan Wilson, in.
Like I said, we want to find
an opportunity for Vaughan. Can they get that second goal? Hits the post. What a save again by Carano. Off the post, and he covers it up. Boy, oh boy, Marco, I got to tell you.
Yeah,
unbelievable
Massimo Farron
performance.
is proving to be quite the handful for the
Absolutely.
Woodbridge defenders.
That is a young man, Massimo Farron. I've watched him since the days when he played a year with my son, and I knew he was destined for good things, and we can see it here, as we said, in the DC United system,
Yes.
USL, on and on. I can guarantee people out there the next year he'll be at the next level 100%.
Yeah,
that's what this league is for.
Absolutely. Yeah, he should be. He's probably going to get a second chance at the professional level. And judging from what I've seen at the League One level, he's he's almost dominating matches single-handedly.
The option is now there where it wasn't for you, Marco, and for my sons that CPL has arrived. 5 years in, now players from your club, you can say to them, there is an option. You don't have to quit playing at a certain age, because if you're good enough, you're old enough, you can play in CPL. How important is that now to present that to your players?
It's absolutely massive. When I came out of college, when I was 18, 19 years old, there were 3 professional clubs in Canada. Now there's many more opportunities for players. And again, I think what players need to use it as hopefully players use it as a launching pad to bigger and better things. Having a CPL career is great, but hopefully players can still stay hungry and continue to learn and improve. And as some of the players have shown, like a Lowell Wright and an Abzi from York United, that you can move on to higher levels.
So, Mark, here's an opportunity for Woodbridge, and taken away there by Carrero, who's had a fantastic game for Vaughan. So, Marco, when the off-season comes, there's really no off-season with your youth club or with Vaughan, but when there's that break, what are some of the things you talk about with your coaches? What are some of the things that you start thinking about that you want to discuss, engage, work with them about? Tell me.
You know what? We always look to get better, improve. Whether it's talking to coaches about what's their coach education plan moving forward. We talk about how we want to structure training in the following year. We talk about who our coaching assignments, who the best fits are going to be, at which age group, which gender. All of those things come into play. Yeah, like soccer's a 24/7 job, as you're aware. So there's really no time off. We're always trying to improve and evolve as a club.
Let's talk about, I know we're here with the League One men's game here, but we need to talk a little bit about the women. Because I got to tell you, from your club, and again, obviously from Vaughan, we'll get Carmen Asakwa in the second half, there has been a number of young, talented young ladies from your club that have gone on to success. I think it has been one of the shining stars of your club that we don't talk enough about.
Yeah, I think hats off to Dave Porco, who runs our women's division at the club. League One team, they were champions of the league last year. Another successful season this year. From our 2004 program, 6 players have gone on to the Rex program, gone on to U.S. scholarships, Canadian scholarships. I think 1 or 2 will eventually graduate to the women's senior program.
39th minute here, 1-0 for Vaughan Azzurri over Woodbridge Strikers. The rain is coming down in buckets, absolute buckets. Marco, you and your lovely white shoes are being drenched. Me and my running shoes are getting drenched.
Thank God for this tent.
Thank goodness for this tent, or we would be looking for Noah's Ark here. Right, Martin Basil, the best cameraman in the business, joining us right here. Been around the game a long time, Martin, doing a lot of great work for a lot of people. Marco, 5 minutes left before this half is over. Let's talk about some of the closing things again with you and your club, and talk about some of the aspirations, some of the ambitions, some of the things that you guys maybe put on that whiteboard and say, this year we want to achieve this by this year.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we put a big focus on player development. And as much as winning,
there's an opportunity for Vaughan. Can they get that second goal in wide? And it is that second goal for Vaughan. Vaughan Azzurri makes it 2-0. And that is the second goal for Vaughan Azzurri. As the rain keeps coming, the goals keep going. 2-0, Vaughan Azzurri. 41-minute mark here for Vaughan. Sorry, go ahead, Marco.
Goal, Vaughan Azzurri.
No, I was saying.
Number 8, Massimo Ferrin in the 40th minute.
Well done to Vaughan. Another good build-up, good goal. Like I was saying, for us, it's, we put a big emphasis on player development and passing players on and pushing players. We're always happy to see players go to Toronto FC Academy. And, by my count, we've sent over 20 in the last 5-6 years. So that, for me, that's success. Passing players on. We always want to do a good job of giving players scholarship opportunities, making sure that we have young players playing on our League One team, and then helping them, go beyond school or League One for the special players that we have at our club.
2 guys that come to mind before I let you go. Give us an update on them. Jeremy Opong and Stephen Africa. Forgive me, I can't pronounce the other last name, but those 2 guys caught my eye a couple of years ago when I was scouting. Talk about them.
Absolutely. Steven's currently at Florida International University. He has the chance to be an All-American, and I think Steven, with a good season, might be able to get himself into the MLS draft this year. Jeremy Opong has just transferred to Seattle University. Again, another bright, young,
blazing
attacking
speed
player. Yeah, absolutely.
Built like a rock, upper body.
Absolutely.
Stephen, I think, if I recall, blazing speed, very athletic, nice first touch. But Jeremy Opong, a different type of player. He actually reminds me of the new Italian guy on the scene, Giunto, if that makes any sense to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Same type of build, same skill set. Again, both
corner kick for Woodbridge. Sorry, Marco, cleared away by Vaughan. Go ahead.
Yeah, both. If they do things right over the next couple of years, and I know they will because they're super kids, they'll offer professional opportunities waiting for them after school.
So when you see some of these young men that have come out from Woodbridge Soccer Club and you see the success they're having, when you're sitting down and having your favorite beverage. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Marco by day is a teacher. So to him, this is something that he is doing because he's been brought up, he's been playing as a pro many years back, and he's given back, just in case people think this is his full-time gig. It is not. When you're sitting down in that chair and you're watching some of these guys have success, what comes to your mind? What puts that smile on your face?
Just that they've we like to surround ourselves with good people at the club, and we always work with good, honest kids. And to see them have success in life always puts a smile on our face. And we're happy that we had a little part, because I think a lot credit goes to the players themselves and the support system around them. So we're happy that we've had that little part to help them get where they are.
I'll leave you with this one as we get real close here to 45 minutes, and the whistle might blow after a couple minutes at it. We're not sure. We'll wait for that. But I'll leave you with this. You talked about tournaments, and I think that this region, York region, not just with your club in York, but all the York region clubs, I think that it would be absolutely tremendous if they could hold a tournament of the Dallas Cup sort, where you would have world-class clubs come here. You have the facilities, you have the infrastructure. Wouldn't that be something for this region?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to give too much away, but it's in the works. It's in
Maybe
the
we're going to
works,
have to
my
squeeze you.
I mentioned the name of a tournament earlier on, and I
Okay,
think it's supposed
yeah.
to be coming back next summer.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
lovely. Absolutely. And let's hope there's from other parts of the world, challenging some of our Canadian clubs like yours and others here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we had Juventus come over a few years ago, pre-pandemic, and they came 2 years in a row. And I think experiences like that are amazing for our players. So I think the club and some others are trying to put something together for that to happen next summer.
That's fantastic. You also had a camp, if I'm not mistaken, with PSG of France. How did that go, and how was that received by the players and coaches?
Yeah, that was extremely successful. Not only from a numbers perspective, but also nice to make relationships with coaches from other parts of the world. And again, as much as it's nice for our players to hear other voices, it's also nice for our coaches to see the methods of coaches from around the world.
What's the message to the parents that you want to give out there, Marco, that think their son or daughter is the next superstar in the making? What's the warning signs you want to give them, and what's some of the advice that you want to give them?
I'd say to the parents is just enjoy seeing your son or daughter play soccer. We've just gone through a number of difficult years where soccer wasn't always the first thing on everyone's mind.
Added on.
So first off, enjoy seeing your son or daughter play. I'm a big believer in work ethic and love of game and love of sport. And if those two things don't exist at an early age, then I think parents can nurture that for their kids. And if they've got those two things, they'll be successful in life regardless of wherever soccer takes them.
Now, let's be honest. I'm going to put you on the spot here, even though there's maybe 1 billion listeners and viewers out there watching. Your son plays.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I had my 2 sons playing. I coached both of them for a little, and it's not the easiest thing to do. I'm sure the car rides were quite hectic. Be honest. Did you have to bite your lip a lot of times, or did your wife have to hit you with the slipper over the head? Which was it?
I made the positive decision to not coach my kids.
Good move.
I coach a lot of kids, and it was always nice going on the sideline and just being the parent for once and enjoying my kids' play. The one thing I always harp on my kids is just work hard. Battle, be ready to win duels. Effort matters. Make sure they always have a good attitude with the coaches. And everything else will look after itself.
Absolutely. Well said, Marco, because I think sometimes people forget the big picture of it all. Everyone's not going to be the next Davies or David or Lauren or Petrasso or Lowell Wright, right? But if they can get something out of this game and be an outstanding citizen in the community, give back, I think that's all worth it.
Yeah, well said. Couldn't agree with you more.
We're just getting here to the closing moments, and Woodbridge is still in this game. They're going to have to try in that second half to try to get something going in the final third of the field because they're lacking that part. Defensively, they're organized. They just can't keep holding the pressure Vaughan in there, Marco.
No, I mean, Vaughan's got, like I said, we brought up Farron, but number 24, 5, and
Dylan Carrero as well. Yeah.
They're pulling the strings to create opportunity after opportunity. I think Woodbridge's got to be a bit more patient in the attacking third, and hopefully they get one. And then at 2-1, anything can happen.
Absolutely. And again, it's going to be a real, I think, challenge, these playoffs, for the clubs that make it from League One Ontario, because they've played an earlier schedule, finishing earlier as well. Like you and I both know in other seasons, they start a little bit later and finish pretty deep in September. That's got to play a part as well on these players.
Yeah, it's a lot of games in a short period of time. So hopefully for the players, they can stay fit and healthy. And Vaughan, hopefully they can stay fit and healthy. They've had an exceptional regular season.
I'm sure the commissioner's listening, and I'm sure he doesn't want you to tell him what to do. But if there's one thing you want to tell Commissioner Rossi for next year that you'd like to change, what would that be, Marco? Free food for people like you and me and everyone here.
Absolutely.
That's working?
Concession stands would be nice too. No, I think I've said this before, and I've had this conversation with Dino plenty of times, and I've sent him my feedback through messages. He's done a good job with the league from both genders. again, it's added a bit more professionalism to amateur soccer here in Canada.
Well said. I couldn't have said it any better, that last part. He really has, because, hey, I've traveled in many parts of the world, and when you see the setup of League One Ontario, not just here tonight, but at your club and other clubs, it's done right. It's done properly. It's done professionally, because the players want to play in a professional atmosphere where things are done right, they're organized, and that's what they expect at the next level. And so this is what it's all about, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be nice. What I'd like to see, particularly from our club, is for more of the membership to come out and support our group.
And that is the whistle to end the first half. Vaughan SC 2, Woodbridge Strikers 0. Lots of games still to be played. We could hear the thunder there. But Marco, I want to thank you very much for joining us here in this first half. It's been tremendous. Keep up the good work with Woodbridge.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Outstanding. Thanks again, Marco.
Thanks.
I got it. It's okay. Bye. Bye. Guarda casa.
Substitution, Woodbridge strikers. 5 out, David Mutembi out. 17 in, Luca Lira in.
And welcome back. I'm your host, Anthony Totera. Getting ready for the second half as Vaughan Azzurri lead 2-0 over Woodbridge Strikers. And once again, thanks to Marco Retta of Woodbridge Soccer Club joining us. And right now, no stranger to these parts, no stranger to this province, Carmen Asako of Vaughan Azzurri joins us. Carmen, welcome. I almost made a Freudian slip there. Talking to Marco, I almost called you Woodbridge, but there's all love everywhere. Talk about that relationship, that unbelievable derby when you guys get together and play each other.
I mean, I think it's called healthy competition. Obviously, Peter Pinisolta's had his hand in a lot of us growing up and developing, whether from the Toronto Italia days and from just soccer and the youth in general, from Toronto Lynx days and the Montreal Impact days. So he's kind of the grandfather of everyone that kind of tried to follow in his footsteps and do the right things, especially for the youth.
Here's an opportunity now for Vaughan down the flank there, and a throw-in coming in for Woodbridge. Carmen, let's talk about a lot of the same things that we quizzed and asked Marco Retta about with his club. We'll start with your club. Let's talk about some of the wonderful things that took place just yesterday here. You celebrated, I believe, 40 years, the Vaughan Fest. Tony Bartolomeo and his volunteers, Nick and so many others, do a wonderful job. Talk about that and how important it is for this club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're built on community, and we're built on and Vaughan Soccer Club's been a part of building this community. So that's incredibly important. Is that growth of the Vaughan Soccer Club with the Vaughan Maple community.
There's a tough tackle there by
Keegan.
Woodbridge and Keegan Wilson, who I believe is playing college this coming weeks in September with Humber, if I'm not mistaken. And Keegan Wilson, no stranger. And you can tell that the lightning is really striking here, and the coaches are getting a little bit concerned, as all of us should be. So we'll leave it up to them to decide what's going on. But Carmen, let's continue on here. You talked about the volunteers, and the volunteers are very key to the success of any youth club, not only in this fantastic region, but other parts of the country. Without them, there is no games, there is no clubs at all. Talk about them.
Absolutely. I mean, volunteers have been the backbone of developing this game and developing the infrastructure of this game and kind of and developing professional people in this game. Without the volunteers, the beginning of the volunteers and the expectations of the volunteers and the volunteers holding our groups to standards, we would have never had full-time coaches, full-time TDs, full-time EDs. This is what the volunteer has developed because of their work and all the selfless work that they've done and integrating the economics of everything, the physical and the mental health of everything, and they've kind of brought it all together and formalized it all.
Well said. Carmen, let's just give the viewers and listeners an update. The clubs have now made their way to the dressing rooms. Lightning has been taken over this area. So let's hope that it clears out so that they can come back out and finish the game. But let's you and I continue on talking about your club and the history of your club and the powerhouse that it has been in this region along with Woodbridge. When I mention players like Kamal Miller, Alistair Johnston, Mark Anthony Kay, I mean, I can go on and on and on. What kind of joy, what kind of satisfaction is it for you and all the people in your club when you see these young men not only succeeding in the top league in North America, but qualifying for Canada's men's national team to now go to Qatar in the World Cup?
I mean, it's been important over the years, and I mean, Vaughan was kind of a building block for a lot of these players because of the work of our high performance programming and Patrice Geyser, and now he's kind of given his knowledge and his passion to people like Jordan Felician and Anthony Vidori. So it's a continuum of things, and and Vaughan Soccer Club was a branch of CS Azzurri back in the day, who developed players like Andrea Lombardo and Jamie Peters and Junior Hoylett, and the list goes on. And what it is a continuum of players players making other players better.
Carmen, let's talk about the secret sauce at Vaughan Zurich Club. It just didn't happen overnight. It had to take a long time to ingrain in the coaches, in the players, right from the volunteers all the way through of the system, of the style, of the attitude, of the mentality of this club. When did that start? How did you guys go about formulating that wonderful recipe to a great cake, as we say?
Well, Vaughan Soccer Club had tastes, had intervals of success with Tony Di Tomasis doing some amazing work back in the past with his 80 group, his 81 group, and we had little tastes of players coming through. But our infrastructure was based on the community, which is no problem. The infrastructure was based on providing membership, and in our community, as you know, sometimes words like high performance are bad words. Words like competition are bad words. But we kind of, as a group, years ago, I would want to say maybe more than 10 years ago, came together and said, hey, what do we want to do with this club? We said, are we going to just be a community service? Are we just going to be a recreational outlet? Are we going to, because that's absolutely fine. But if we want the next things, these are the way we have to do it. So me and my staff put together about a 5 to 10 year plan on how we would kind of move away from the volunteer coaches, move away to more professional coaches. And as I was doing, the many players that I've coached were getting involved and very passionate about, with Serge DeLuca, who's now the technical director of Vaughan Zurich. He came in and made an impact, and his energy and everything that he does as far as grassroots development, and Luca Forno and what he's given, and our curriculum has become a little more streamlined to develop that, sometimes dirty words, that high performance player, that elite player. And we know that things don't happen by accident. So this whole process was accepted by the executive director, and people like Tony and Nick and Pat Tarazzo and company have come and given us the resources for Ryan Raposos to excel, for Kamal Millers to excel, for Alistair Johnsons to excel, and they've given us,
They haven't given you roadblocks. They've let you guys freely talk and do what you need to do. And to me, that I think is key, Carmen, that unfortunately you see with many other clubs all over the world, let's say, that the board and the president start to put their nose and their thoughts and ideas where it shouldn't be. They left the football people like yourself, Patrice Geyser, Jordan Feliciano, Serge DeLuca, and others, Luca Forno, to do what needs to do, and the fruits have now shown up in the wonderful basket, like Raposo, Johnson, Miller, on and on. I mean, last night watching the FC Montreal game, Kamal Miller ran from 1 point all the way down. I don't know if you saw it, and a clean clearance of that ball out of the box. This is fantastic.
But I mean, Kamal Miller is a perfect example of what we were. He went up from the group, from the CSL system all the way to the OYSL system. Hung on when things weren't as great, and then by the time he was 16, we were playing games against Kyle Laren and Kyle Becker and Forlano and players of that ilk that were against Sigma. And he was a 15-year-old playing League One games, which thank God for this league for developing those players as well, giving them the opportunity to compete. Right, so that's important. Those were life lessons that they learned, and Alistair Johnson would. And getting them to that next level and getting them that growth through the NCAA and the League One pathway was incredibly important.
Is it safe to say, Carmen, that years ago when we sat down, and remember, myself, you, the commissioner now, League One Canada, Dino Rossi and others, that we were adamant that we had to get League One Ontario going, even if we were at 6 or 8 teams, or else today we wouldn't be talking about the players you mentioned, the success, because you wouldn't have had that final piece of League One Ontario competition. Talk about that.
Absolutely. The growth of this game in Ontario, a lot to people like yourself and Dino Rossi, and even Rafael Carbajal was a very strong advocate for League One. The NSL back in the day, which Toronto Italia, was an incredible growth for young players like me at the time. Carmen Gros, Frank Spadafina, Angelo Donia, players of Thomas Radzinski. We can't forget that what the NSL provided and the quality of competition. I mean, at times the integrity of the transition of that league was questioned, and Dino Rossi said we've got to start something. and yourself and Raphael came and started something and said, if we get people like Woodbridge and Vaughan supporting it, we can grow something good, and we can have the next level of competition, and we could have the next level of players. And so far so good. So far so good.
Absolutely. Carmen, let's talk about the next goals for the Vaughan and Zuri, the next targets, the ambitions, the desires. It's the same thing I asked Marco Retta Woodbridge. And I look at this region, the powerhouse region that it is, not only here, and folks, if we get a couple more strikes like that, Carmen and I are going to have to make a beeline and make our way into the dressing room there, because that was close, Carmen. But as we talk about this region, the powerhouse that it is, and the wonderful fruit of players and coaches that it has, I look at Europe, I look at South America, and in cities, especially in England, you see 3 or 4 professional clubs, sometimes more than that. How important, how great would it be one day to see more professional clubs in this region?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we're grateful to York 9 at the time, York United now, for coming into this region and providing our youth like Isaiah Johnson and players like that an opportunity to play at the next level, which a kid like that took it. You know, back in the day, the first year when I was there, we brought in also Ronaldo Marshall, who's hurt, who probably we may see earlier. And these kids were quality, and they just need that platform to grow from. And you see on the field right now that a few of these guys hopefully will be picked up, like a Mas Farron right now.
Unbelievable game he's had in the first half.
And this has been par for the course for Mas. He's been like this all year, and he needs that opportunity in that CPL to get. And Kosi has been a beast as well. And there's other players, some players that like Gogudi, who are offering their knowledge for the growth of the game as well. So yeah, it's important that players like this get an opportunity to develop, opportunity to play. Where else is better do it than the York region? Where else to get? Imagine, we talked about it earlier. Imagine if the resources of a Woodbridge, of a Vaughan Soccer Club were shared. And imagine if the minds of a Peter Pinistalton and a Marco Retta and a Paul Steratelli were shared, and we had some outlet where we could develop the game in the York region at the professional level. Because player pool, no questions. Resources as far as facilities, no questions. Resources as far as administrators, no question. Resources as far as people that are willing to invest in the game, on and off the field, no question.
So what you're saying is it's key. Local players, local administrators, local coaches, local volunteers, etc., etc., etc. That is the key to success, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Absolutely. I mean, and it starts from 2 soccer clubs like Vaughan and Woodbridge and Kleinberg and the Richmond Hills of the world. If we all get invested and we all have a selfless kind of pathway or mentality to grow this game in York region, and we do it without ego and without agenda, we can do something very special in this region.
Is it safe to say, if everyone checks their egos at the door, like you said, with Woodbridge, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Kleinberg, etc., that this region itself could be a powerhouse at the pro level when the opportunity might come knocking to say, hey, this region has a pro club, we can compete with anyone?
100,000%. And at that time, you know, I when I was with York 9, I said, guys, we have to earn this. To our administration, it's not about them just coming in and supporting it. You've done a great job bringing pro sports, but now we have to earn it on and off the field. We need to engage the community. We need to engage the youth. We need to do all those things properly, because if we build it, they will come. And I think that you know, with a little more time and a little more communication, whether it's York United, our region can excel in this world for sure.
Is it safe to say, Carmen, as we hear the refs here making a decision if we're going to go on or not, and maybe we can get a quick update, or are we going to be still waiting, ref, for a few more minutes before the game is called or not? He'll let us know. Okay. Thank you. He'll keep us updated. Carmen, is it safe to say, and this is not exaggerating because I know this for a fact, because I get the calls when I'm doing scouting and when I'm part of League One Canada and scouting for CPL as well, that there doesn't go by a day without you, Patrice Geyser, Jordan, Luca, Serge, not getting calls from CPL head coaches, MLS head coaches, NCAA on and off. Is that not a fact?
Absolutely. I mean,
how does that feel?
We've got a great relationship with the coaches, and we've done a good job to earn the respect that we've earned. Same with people like Marco Retta, same with people like Paul Steratelli, same for sure. And I think the community and not only our community or our local Ontario teams like Forge and Ottawa and York United, but I think across Canada, I think Patrice and Serge, and those are the people and Marco Redas and Peter Pinizzotto. Those are the kids that those are the men that develop those kids to get those opportunities.
Now, you mentioned Forge there, and obviously coming off a loss last night to York United, well-deserved win by York United. But I think of Sigma, and I think of Bobby Semiotis, his brother Costa Semiotis, the GM of the club, and what an easy transition it was for them when they went into CPL because they knew what they had in their backyard. They took the best fruit available, and the stats and the results speak for themselves. I've said this time and time again, Carmen, that this region, the fruit is bountiful enough for MLS, CPL, etc., etc.
I agree 1,000%, and you know what, Bobby will tell you right now that the competition and the healthy competition between clubs like Vaughan and Sigma and Woodbridge and Sigma and so have been the catalyst for Beckers to come through, Kyle Larens to come through, all types of players to come through, and we've been challenging them. And they challenge us all the time to make us better, and we've challenged them to make us better. It would have been great to have that opportunity to do that, but not always. And we still have an opportunity to do that as long as the lines of communication are open.
Carmen, I think we're going to have to cut it here unless we want to get fried, and some viewers and listeners might want that from us. But hey, you know what? To be safe, we're going to let you go, and hopefully we can come back as the game gets going. If not, good night. Thank you, Carmen Asako. Keep up the great work with Vaughan and Zuri and your club.
Thanks, Anthony.
Really appreciate it. Good night, folks. We got to be safe, Carmen. It's hard now, okay? If not, if we come back out, then we'll do a little more, okay? No problem.
But I have to lower it, otherwise, lighting.
No. We got to go. Yeah, put this away. And
Thank you.
Thank you, eh?
That was amazing.
No, we got to be safe. That's all, right?
Leave that. Okay, so
Take this one. That one's yours. My phone, my keys are yours. Here's what's happening.